Hi everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the 2023 trends, and these are probably the most unique trends I've ever really spoken about, so do stay tuned and wait for all three. Merging styles. Now, something I have definitely seen happen over the last few years, and I think is going to really take off in 2023, is just the coming together of so many different genres and styles. And I think what's happening is, of course, as tech brings us all closer together, we are definitely becoming more global. We are seeing so much on social media, so many different design styles from different countries, different worlds really, and we are naturally, whether we realize it or not, translating those styles and using them and being inspired by them within our own designs. And I think it's so subtle, but the longer the tech movement sort of continues, the more you start to see this trend really infiltrate in everybody's designs. I'm going to give you some examples of how I think that's sort of seeped into my own design style. My kitchen, which is a perfect example as I stand here, is really the merging of so many different loves of mine and so many different loves for different interior design movements. Now, I love that farmhouse look, which I think, to be honest, today is becoming a very popular look. And in many ways, the more popular it becomes, the more we can start to call it a contemporary style, because of course, contemporary in design actually means design movement today, what's happening today. And we're definitely seeing a lot more farmhouse. So, that's a style that I picked up on, that I really love, and that's definitely all over social media. So I wanted to sort of merge that countryside farmhouse look with a much more Art Deco look. Now, Art Deco is definitely reminiscent of bold lines, bigger colors, and rich colors, and I think it's a very powerful movement. So bringing that in with a more farmhouse look, seems like it could be quite difficult, but I think we've done it really well in the kitchen, and we've developed this sort of meeting of two worlds, and it's worked well for us here. So that's just one example of how we've merged those two styles within our kitchen. Another way that I think within my own home we've merged those styles is in our living room, where we have a very countryside contemporary look, but then we've tried to add in some touches of more modern design. And so you'll see that we've got this fluting on the television unit, and then behind the sofa we've mirrored that fluting but in a different color in some niches where we've got some flowers. Just merging those two aspects, which seem quite contrasted to one another, has worked really well for us. And I think in principle, when you think about merging styles, it can seem like it might be too much of a contrast, but actually if you are able to merge styles really well and really subtly, then actually it doesn't feel like a difference at all. In fact, it just sort of elevates that design style. So I think merging styles is something not only that I'm seeing as more of a trend, but something that I'd almost encourage. Shape. So shape is, of course, a very powerful part of interior design. What I've definitely seen coming through lots of different homes and lots of different interior design styles is a focus on shape in itself. We've got this new movement of the curved sofa, which of course isn't a totally new movement. It's like anything else, something that's coming back into fashion or back into trend. But you definitely do see that sort of curved look on sofas becoming something that's, a more prominent feature of interior design concepts. But also you might notice that with more straight-edged or straight-line sofas, you are starting to see designers sort of curve either the armrests or curve the back of the sofa. And I think that really is interesting, because not only are we seeing, the full comeback of the curved sofa, we're also seeing this interpretation of your standard sort of more boxy sofa, but adding in some kind of curved line there. So I think that's really interesting. But also in terms of other shape, I think what we're seeing, and again, I come back to the curve, is we are seeing more arches. People have caught on to this realization that the arch can be a really powerful symbol. It can be a really prominent feature in a home. And I think some people are making an existing arch a more prominent feature of their home. And some people are actually just recreating that arched look and, sort of recreating an arch in their home that perhaps wasn't there before, just to bring in that break of all of the lines in a home. And we have become so accustomed to so many lines and so many hard-edged lines, and it's quite nice to see how a curve can break up all of the symmetry and all of the harder edged lines. Okay, so just as I talk about breaking up, the harder edged line and, bringing in the curve and the softer movement into design through shape, what's also really interesting is bringing that back with actually this reinforcement of symmetry and of lines. But I think we're doing it in a more interesting way, and certainly using more fluting throughout the home has been something I've seen quite a lot of. We've actually used it also in my own home. When you use lines in fluting, there are a lot of straight edged lines and it is quite a powerful statement, but because those lines are quite close together, it almost softens the hard feeling of just a bold straight line. And I think that's quite nice sitting against some of the curves and some of the edges and definitely some of the softer materials that we've got. Personally, I think my suggestion with shape is definitely to always try and mix and match. For example, in my kitchen right now, there are a lot of hard-edged lines, and I think the way we've sort of broken that up is through having lots of rounder bowls, different curved elements within the kitchen, whether that's through accessories, cups, mugs, vases, flowers, and so we've broken up those lines in our own way. And I think as long as you've got your own ability to mix the straight edged with the softer edges, I think that really creates a beautiful balance in a kitchen or in any space in a house. I think with interior design, a lot of the focus is on symmetry, which of course I am a big lover of. Just as important as symmetry is, I think that balance between shapes is also very, very important. Okay, and finally, my favorite trend of all the 2023 trends, and I am sure this is coming, it has to be coming, is just being more bold. Taking in all of these different styles, taking in all of these different genres, understanding, there are so many different design elements in so many places around the world. You don't have to conform to one or another. You can be more open-minded. The world has become so much more open because of technology and social media and everything else. And I think that is really giving everybody the opportunity to sort of stand on their own 2 feet and say, what, I don't conform to one style or another style. I am my own style. And I think that's incredibly powerful. I hope that becomes a massive trend in 2023. I personally can see it happening with lots of different designers. You don't have to be like anybody else. You don't have to conform to one style. You can really sort of translate everything that you're seeing into something completely independent and unique that works for you. The final trend, and I think this is really a great message to leave you with, is if there is a trend, and if there should be a trend, it should be that, social media and this new kind of very techie world that we live in should be teaching us all, and I'm sure it does and has, to be more comfortable with showing what we're about, what our company's about, showing that there are real life people behind companies. The word company sort of sounds like this big machine or this big building. Companies are ultimately a group of people who work together, to create something or build something. And I think what's really important about social media, and hopefully is giving us, this platform to become more human and be more confident about showcasing who we are and what our companies are about and what our message is, especially if, you've got a positive message. My hope for 2023 is this platform social media and technology has given us is a platform that has translated into people becoming more confident about what they can do and who they are. Thank you so much, finally, for watching me. I am always so grateful that there are people that watch and there are people that are interested. Interior design is really my passion, so it's a great joy that I get to share that with you, and I hope you are really enjoying coming along this journey with me.